take his sheep up to the mountains, and he always did something curious. He wanted to get to the high ground up there in the high plateaus, and he wanted to get there first, and he knew there was another shepherd going up another way. Gorby was his name at the time, and he brought along them. They wanted to rush to see where they could get through the pass first. Yeah. So what was interesting about it is our shepherd then decided the thing to do would be to load the sheep, use some of the sheep to carry rocks, because he had this specially made sling. And it cost him quite a bit to make the slings. So the people in the village had to support him in that effort to make the best kind of slings, because he wanted to get up there as fast as he could. And so, of course, he put them on the black sheep, because that way the prices are better for white, for the white sheep over the black sheep. So he got the black sheep to carry most of the rocks as he drove them up to the mountain passes. And so he planned on then trying to get through that pass first. But the dog, that dog of his, kept barking at night at the stars and kept him awake all night. And that nanny sheepdog, was really, really strange. The shepherd's name, by the way, is Ron, was the guy's name. Ron. Yeah. And what am I doing? Who's the ruler? Ronald Reagan. His wife's name is Nancy. Nancy was said to be interested in astrology, was she not? Right? So I'm now going to get the dog to bark at the stars and the moon, am I not? Right? And Gorby is going to look like Gorbachev, am I not? And what am I going to do? I'm going to build a whole story about the shepherd and the sheep. I'm going to draw my particular names from this side. And I'm going to have some fun when Ron finally gets up there and he feeds all his sheep on that lovely grass up there, and they all get stoned. Now, wait a minute. What are you laughing for?
Wasn't there somebody in the administration, Stockwell, I think?
Yeah, Stockwell.
Yeah, Stockwell, who there was an allegation and it turned out to be true of drug abuse.
Yeah. That's right. So we can bring him in. See? We can have him as one of his assistants coming up with a little package. Right, we can have, and what are we doing? We're expanding these terms, putting in a drama, drawing all of our key references to these people, and that's how you write a comedy.
How do you fit in as Alzheimer's now?
Oh.
Back to drama. Down now. I did.
There was some rumor that Ron had that condition for many years.
Yeah, at least 1984.
Yes. As a matter of fact, when he visited the Queen of England, you know that story. He visited the Queen of England, and he was talking about his days when he was with the flying in World War II. Because he had a film, whether he was a pilot in World War II. He was a pilot.
He believed it.
He believed it. Right. So real, difficult to get into reality. Now, just to have fun with this, now do you think we can bring this into what we're speaking about? Yes, we can. I'll show you how. Now, if you want to stress the difference between comedy and tragedy, all right, then you don't go for same, you go for similar. And you do something else, you see. You work the other way. Now you want to not go for particulars, you want to go for general. You don't have to know the ruler, you don't have to know anything about him. He can be most ideal. And now you can draw your terms the other way. He was a ruler who really wanted to be a shepherd to his flock. See, I'm now borrowing terms, right? He wanted to do his best to guide them, but he had one tragic flaw, which he overlooked. With that blindness caused the great disasters to befall upon him and his people. That was very much, by the way, his father was a shepherd who lost all his sheep, by the way, taking them up into the mountains. It was ill timing, and he brought them up there, and there was early snow, and they all died, including his father. And he always had that problem of making bad decisions at winter, at the first snow. See what I'm doing? I'm building a parallel to this story. I'm trying to create it. That's how you'd write a tragedy. Now here's the problem. Okay, we'll try this now. The comic figure, would you not agree? There's something curious about him. He doesn't know that he doesn't know. He doesn't know that he doesn't know, and acts as if he does know. All right? The tragic figure, what do you see in that? He knows that he knows everything, but doesn't know he doesn't know something vital. And he's willing to be true to what he knows and push the implications of his condition while he is most honestly and forthfully interested in uncovering his own ignorance, even if it brings about the ruination of his state. Oedipus, right? He's willing to face any possibility to understand what the problem is in his society, and he finally has to turn it upon himself and see that the weakness that he has is the very cause of the disaster to the state. So therefore, would you agree then the comic figure in terms of knowing is different than the tragic? Now wait a minute, between them, or is there a third? Now the problem is, where shall we put the third? Because there's another figure who says, I know that I do not know.
That's the last one.
That would be the court jester.
I know that I do not know. Watch now, I'm going to change it. I know what I do not know. If he knows that I do not know, I know that I do not know, I know what it is I do not know, and I never confuse one with the other, he's in possession of knowledge, isn't he? That is to say, in respect to what it is he does not, in respect to what he does know, he can never make a mistake. In respect to what he does know, he can never make a mistake because he knows that he knows it. There's only one kind of knowledge that's like that you can never mistake for anything else, and that's that experience we mentioned before about the nature of reality. Because it's your very nature. Therefore, you can't mistake your own nature. And that's the kind of knowledge that you know what it is that you know, and you know that it's different than all other kinds of things. In that respect, that's right. That's right. So push it one more step. See, he knows, what does he know?
He knows his own flaws.
Yeah, and he knows that I do not know. Now he's going to use this with a capital K. I know that I do not know anything that man considers worth knowing.
Like the Daily News.
That's right. Right? I know that I do not know anything that the common man knows and considers as knowledge. For I know what it is to know, and I can never be mistaken about what it is I know. That's the philosopher. Therefore, that kind of knowing, where does it place him? See? So let me give it to you in terms of the ancient problem in Plato's Symposium. See, one of the ancient problems, which is fun to bring in today, is where would you put the philosopher? Is he between these two? Because there's something very comic about the philosopher. He doesn't care about what other people think. He's pursuing this goal. He can look ridiculous at times to the common man. Right, therefore he is a comic figure. If they catch him with this kind of superior knowledge and reveals it, he may in fact be doomed, which is what they did to Socrates. They put him to death. So he's a mixture of the tragic comicality of life, yet he's separate and distinct from both. And that's the very issue at the end of Plato's Symposium. He gets Agathon and he gets Aristophanes. Aristophanes is the great writer of comedies, and Agathon just recently won first prize for tragedies, and he poses these questions to both of them at the conclusion.